My name is Margaret Ann Windsor, and I was kidnapped from Buckingham Palace in 41 and brought to Moulton, Alabama, and given the name of a twin that was dead, murdered by her mother. Both twins were dead, Carl and Peggy, but I was given the identity of Peggy and my identity stolen. I'm Margaret Ann Windsor. I'm Victoria II, legal heir to the British Crown. And I usually give backup in pictures and photos on this, and it takes up the whole video trying to give background. I've put all this on YouTube since Alexis Murphy went missing. It's August the 3rd of last year. I've been on Facebook the last couple years or 2.5 years. I have beat the doors down at the media from here to wherever I've been. Atlanta, Huntsville, Alabama, you name it. Larry Flint endorsed me and flew me out to his home. It was in Bel Air then on St. Cloud. He wrote an article, an endorsement in Hustler magazine, April of '84, saying I knew who was responsible for his shooting in Lawrenceville, Georgia. His attorney was killed also. I lived in Marietta nearby, and I was doing a book called MD A License to Kill. In that book, I was telling about mind control and programming and modifying behavior. And I mentioned in there, and I won't get into this because I've done it in other videos, about Center for Disease Control with Emory University. And Larry McDonald was one of the doctors, and his pathologist, forensic pathologist, Warren and Rosina Matthews, were murdered in Cobb County, Marietta, where I was living. And they knew too much. What can I say? How deaths to appear of natural cause when they're murder, mind control. Even one of the witnesses in the murder trial was under hypnosis, they said. But anyway, all these people down here knew all of this. Law enforcement, the girl that I paid to type my manuscript, I called her. She gave me her number if I wanted to know how it was going. I called, and it was the Georgia Crime Lab answered. And when I was put through to her, it shocked me. And then it was April the 1st, April Fool's Day of '80. I had antifreeze put in me, should have died. I was transported illegally across the state line to Huntsville. In the condition I was in, I went to work for Fred Simpson, the district attorney in Huntsville, Madison County. And after then, I had a couple of jobs doing manual for Navy manuals there for Computer Science Corporation. And also I worked for Golden Triangle, which was really for Doyle Duke and Clarice Meadows, who they were nice people, but they worked for the CIA. It was owned by the CIA. Now I want to jump to, I was flown out to Flint during that campaign, and he furnished me a car, wrote the article, and I told about mind control murders. They were done in patterns, and it's hard to prove. And I knew from 1970 murders were being done, but I didn't know the mechanism used until actually when I was working for doctors Forsyth, Kuchar, and McCoy. And I found out how they put chips in heart bypasses, and you can control someone's decision-making, or have them murder somebody, or have them murder themselves by suicide. So this is what's been going on in the cover-up, and the media won't touch it. Mainly because of who I am. It will come back to who I am. The Kennedys Joe Kennedy was ambassador, and I get into telling all this in part of my kidnapping in 41. He was ambassador appointed by Roosevelt. So this is the real reason they're not going to tell any of it. My illness has been used against me since I came up here constantly in '86, and I lived on the Appalachian Trail, froze, starved, begged for a place to live. When I get a place, it's, and you know how if people don't care to listen to it and want to shut it out, how it sounds. They've used the ventilation system. They've had people come in. When I would leave, simply leave to go for a walk or get groceries when I could, soak the bedding, the maintenance, the agency that's doing this, um, everyone has something to hide. They go in and get something on people, and the people will go along with it to have the charges dropped or whatever. So you can go from there. Now, I want to go to the last murders that have happened here in Roanoke, in this area. I'm talking about the University of Virginia in Charlottesville and Virginia Tech. And I'm not going to get all this in. It's on the other side at Blacksburg. For example, there was the 33 that were killed, students that were murdered, shot, and that was mind control. The person was programmed April the 16th of '07. Now that there's a whole list of them there that they did not, well, they'll never tell you that it was mind control. Now then I want to go to Charlottesville. The last ones there that totally can be proven, I mean, there's no doubt in anybody's mind, is Alexis Murphy, then there's Morgan Harrington, and then there's the last one, Hannah Graham. And you know the media is going to cover this up too. They will not talk to me. Yet Morgan's parents, he's a psychiatrist here, very prominent, and he taught at Virginia Tech. So they can pick up and get the media will go out, and the media will not talk to me all these years. I have beat the doors down, and nobody doubts it. They all know what's going on. But I want to say this. I am so sorry, Hannah. I was sorry that any of this ever happened, but nobody gives a rat's about me because of who I am, and hey, this is America. And I hope that retired police state trooper Carl Barton doesn't mind me borrowing these words. The Americans are above the law. They don't have to pay for their crime. So the difference between me sitting over here getting soaked in chemicals that are really killing me, I'm telling about being the monarch and what that sorry sots this country are and the crimes they committed. And people don't want to hear it, and then they're afraid of repercussions if they did help me or if they didn't help hurt me. So that's the difference in why the outpouring in Hannah Graham. Hannah's English. She's a citizen of Great Britain just like I am of England. And this has been on all the media. They found her remains on the side of the road, or they're inferring it's her. And this is where they've had me. That's why I lived up here in the mountain, which is not far from me now in Troutville. By the way, Morgan Harrington's parents live in a beautiful home, and over the years they have been totally aware of what I've been saying and telling, and my walking and living on the side of the road up the side of the mountain here in Troutville, not far from them. And all they have to do is pick up the phone, and the media is Johnny on the spot to them. Now back to Hannah. They found her out buried on the side of the road out in the kind of forest area, real secluded and everything, not far from Morgan's body. These are connected. The guy's program, Jesse Matthews, and the media's going to cover it up again. But I was listening to WDBJ7 just now, and they all go to their homes and their kids, and they're not going to chance telling anything about me other than a lie. They were saying that one of them was out of state, and everybody was concerned about Hannah Graham. Hannah Graham, you don't care anything about her. It's the fact that it's almost like a show. The show, if they had told any of the truth in the beginning, none of this would have happened. She wouldn't have died, and her parents going back to England without her and thinking these people are nice people when they're not. It's a show. They're not afraid of repercussion. They can go out with all their vehicles and scan and say they're taking off days of work to look for. Everyone around here knows the truth. Everyone in Huntsville, Alabama knew it, Atlanta, Georgia, and by this time all over. But the media is closed, and the law enforcement's a part of it, so they're not going to tell it. And I'm sitting here and I'm wondering